Hey, my friends, this is the Art of Prepping. Hope you guys are well today. Just wanted to chime in and just as a reminder, especially for those who are new to preparedness, that you don't have to go to a big box store to get your supplies or to get all of it at least. You don't have to go to specialty websites and pay premium top dollar. You can sometimes just go to your local stores, just your mom and pop stores or even your quote unquote dollar stores. And that's what I want to kind of focus on here today. Your dollar stores are diverse. Some of them have products that are $1 or less on everything. And then you have some dollar stores that have some items for $1, but a lot of their things are typically more than $1. But they have a lot of budget offerings. And I just want to point out that these dollar stores, regardless if they're a true dollar store or if they're just a different subset of dollar store, they can also provide you with material support. And for the most part, you do have to be kind of aware of the quality and quantity that you're getting, because sometimes there's a lot of variance between like what is offered in a big box store or a membership store like a Sam's Club or a Costco and what is offered, of course, in a dollar store. And I just want to give you some examples of some things that I picked up recently at a dollar store. Now, all of these items came from a true dollar store that it was a Dollar Tree, in fact. And everything was $1. And the first thing that I picked up was some hand sanitizer. They also have surface disinfectants as well. And these were like in containers that have wipes. These were basically like wet wipes. And there were 50 of these wet wipes for your hands. And then in the actual container that was made for surfaces, for like countertops and tables and so forth, I think it was like 35 wipes in a container. And they were a little larger, the sizes, for the surface disinfectants. They're a larger size wet wipe. But, that's a lot of wet wipes for $1. And I also keep one of those in my car and one in my bug out bag. And just, having sanitizers are really, in my opinion, a big deal. It really helps to keep you from getting sick, picking up viruses and so forth. And so they also have like the different types of smaller bottles for travel if you don't want to go with the wet wipes. And so they have the alcohol-based hand sanitizers, and they have the larger and smaller bottles. A lot of the places that when they have the smaller bottles, they'll give you like 3 in a package for $1. Pretty good. And they're not actually that small either. There's quite a bit in it in each one. You also have the pump style traditional soap that, you mix with water and you wash your hands like that. And so you can get those, and they also have the refills for those. And so once again, all for $1. I also picked up a 4-pack of microfiber towels. These are hand towels. They're 11 inch by 11 inch, 4-pack for $1. And they also had other sizes as well. And also, if you're looking for cell phone accessories or just to have backup cords and charging cables and all that, the Dollar Tree that I was at had a very large selection, a whole wall of cell phone cases and various accessories. And I just was really quite surprised. And they had all different types of, charging cables. In fact, not just the traditional micro USB that we typically, use, but a lot of the newer stuff too, even like the Type-C cables. I want to talk about now, this part here is a little controversial because, I would agree with a lot of people that dollar stores typically don't have a great selection of medicine. But sometimes they have just what you need. And so I found a large selection of various decongestants, including even nasal spray decongestants. I found as well a large amount of different types of pain medicine, bandages of all different types. I found wraps and gauze pads and just traditional quote unquote Band-Aids. Some of the Band-Aids had the triple antibiotic cream built into the actual gauze pad in the bandage. And, there's all different types of ointments that I found, not only just the triple antibiotic ointment for wounds, but also various, skin ointments for other different types of issues. It could be that you have a rash or a chapped skin or other things going on as well. They also had lighters. Now, back in the day, and when I mean in the day, like 10, 15 years ago, you could get a 5-pack of different types of name brand lighters for $1 at some of these quote unquote dollar stores. But nowadays, you can really see that things have changed. The inflation with the currency, and you're lucky now to get a 3-pack for $1. But I've been seeing a lot more of only getting 2 lighters for $1. So you kind of have to look. Some places still have 3 for $1, but most are now at 2 lighters for $1. And they're not bad lighters. Just me personally, though, there's probably other places you can get a little bit better bang for the buck. But if you're not interested in looking around and, having to search, it is what it is. And just, my experience, I've never had any problems with any of their brands. And I've tried like 3 brands over the last 10 years from just, dollar stores. So those lighters typically just work just fine. The next example here is going to be batteries. Now, at the Dollar Tree, I have never had any major problems with batteries. I mean, they almost function just like any other name brand batteries. In fact, there's also like some really interesting videos on YouTube of people testing the generic brands versus the name brands. And some of these generic brands coming from a true dollar store, like a Dollar Tree, in some cases worked as good, if not better, than some of the name brands. I thought that was really interesting. And so I will have to say, though, my experience with some of the batteries from like the Dollar General haven't been that great. But my experience with the batteries at Dollar Tree have been very good. So not sure why that is. It could be that they just have totally different types of batteries. But that's just my experience. Another thing I want to bring up is that these dollar stores typically have a grocery section. They don't have a lot of variety. They don't have a lot to choose from, or, they just have some essentials. They have some pre-packaged goods, and they also have some things that are in the canned good format. Just be aware of the quantity, because you're going to think to yourself, wow, I get all this rice for $1, but then you want to look at the actual weight and do the math. Sometimes they have packaging that's actually like downsized. And so you may be thinking you're getting like a regular quantity of something, but it may only be like 3/4 or even half. In some cases, they have the same size container, but they just have that less amount of stuff in it. So you just have to be, observant of, how much you're getting for $1. They also have typically tape and cordage, and they have other things as well when it comes to like hardware. Some of the dollar stores have a pretty good selection of hardware. Others I've seen almost have nothing. So if you're looking for like basic wire and some basic nails, they might have it. But they typically always have some type of cordage, and it's mostly some type of polyester cordage. It's not really heavy duty or anything, but they do have some. Sometimes they even have jute twine. And of course, their generic version of duct tape. And you don't get very much for $1. For me personally, I just go ahead and get Gorilla Tape. I know it works, and it's typically a lot better quality than anything you can find at any type of dollar store. And now, just for a bonus, I just want to highlight that a lot of the dollar stores have aluminum foil, plastic wrapping or sheets, and they also have containers. I think that's important. And containers, I kind of put it in 2 categories. They have like drinking containers. Sometimes they have like water bottles. Some of them are plastic. Sometimes you can find them that are metal. A lot of them are aluminum. I would avoid those for obvious health reasons. But they do sometimes have stainless steel if you're lucky to find those. So they do have those. And the other type of containers, they have these small tote boxes. Some of them are about the size of a shoebox. And I've seen others that are just a little larger. And so, basically you can find some containers to help organize your gear and maybe to hold some fluids. And so these are just some examples. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I've seen in some larger cities, dollar stores who actually have a large freezer section. And that's kind of new to me, and I've seen those only pop up in the last 2 to 3 years. But in some locations, if you're in a high population center or there's a high population density, you might actually have a pretty large selection of freezer goods and maybe even a larger grocery section. But in my area, I'm a lot more rural, and we kind of have just the basic stores. We don't have very much. And so I just wanted to bring this up as another option. You don't always have to go and do things, a certain way. Sometimes you can actually find ways around just going to big box stores or just going to the grocery store or ordering online or whatever. And especially when there's hoarding going on or if there's panic buying, then you have to look at other approaches to get things if you just need things. So this is just, kind of my suggestion. I can't always guarantee this is going to work for you. But if you live in a city, especially a larger city, and things are running out or you can't find what you want, you may want to drive out of the city and go to the nearest dollar store and look there, and you might have a better chance. And that's just what I've been noticing. So you guys be safe. You guys take care. Catch you later.